So it might not be a talking point for our lefty media, which now has their globalist men in number 10 and number 11, but there is a growing crisis in British Conservative politics. The anti-democratic defenestration of Boris Johnson and Liz Truss in quick succession, alongside the true blue policies they advocated, would have been bad enough. But now the Tory grassroots have been left with fishy Rishi Sunak and zero-COVID zealot Jeremy Hunt running the country. Both men promised tax cuts during failed leadership campaigns this summer.
Scheduled to increase, though, the corporation tax to be higher than Japan, America, France or Germany. I want to cut it to 15%, the lowest we're allowed to cut it to, according to international agreements.
But I am going to cut taxes. Now, I am going to cut taxes. But I will cut taxes. But I am going to cut taxes.
Nope, this Thursday, they're going to hit the British public, including hard-working, middle-class, traditional Conservative voters, with a damning programme of tax hikes.
We are going to see everyone paying more tax. We're going to see spending cuts. We will introduce a plan that will see us through the very choppy waters that we're in economically. But we'll make sure that we protect the most vulnerable.
And what the Chancellor has rightly set out is that we will need to take some difficult decisions, but that's in order to limit the increase in mortgage rates, to get inflation down. Those are the right things to do.
Now that has many disillusioned Conservatives quite rightly asking themselves, what the hell's the point of this party? And why have I stayed loyal to an organisation that has kicked its members to the curb? I think the feeling was summed up best by this tweet from the Daily Telegraph's video comment editor Stephen Edgington at the weekend, who wrote, "Why should I vote Conservative? There is not a single reason I can think of. Labour will likely be more competent in implementing their terrible high-tax woke agenda." So at this point, enter my GBNews colleague and a constant thorn in the side of wet Ramona authoritarian high-tax Tories everywhere, Nigel Farage. More than a quarter of British voters would consider voting for a new party led by Farage, a new poll for the Daily Telegraph by Public First revealed at the weekend. When it comes to Conservative voters, 38% would consider supporting a Farage party, with 43% of Brexiteers saying the same. Now, not surprisingly, those voters think we need someone to stand up for ordinary British people, we need to cut illegal immigration, and we need real change. Sunak and the Tories should ignore the Farage factor at their peril. Are you prepared to do it? Are you prepared to return to frontline politics?
Well, look, I led two very major, and I would argue, albeit it took a long time, but two very successful insurgencies. The first was UKIP, the second was the Brexit Party.
Let June the 23rd go down in our history as our Independence Day! You all laughed at me. Well, I have to say, you're not laughing now, are you? We'll trade with them, we'll work with them, we'll cooperate with them, we'll have reciprocity, but we will not take orders from them! No more being talked down to, no more being bullied, no more Guy Verhofstadt. I mean, what's not to like? I know you're going to miss us. I know you want to ban our national flags, but we're going to wave you goodbye.
On his own, Nigel Farage could fight a very, very brave rearguard action. I'm sure I can get millions of votes. I'm sure I could do that. But we need more than that. If there are others out there that want to work with me, that have got that vision, then it can be done.
So there's the Farage pitch, but even without him on the ballot, the party he used to lead, Reform UK, could prove a massive spoiler for Sunak's Conservatives. Now, this poll last week shows Reform soaring to 9%, 2 points higher than the Lib Dems, with the Tories languishing on 26%. And as the Bruges Group surmised, this is what happened when you needlessly oust a PM who won in a landslide, undermine the successor party members selected, impose a leader few outside of Westminster wanted, and tease a punishment budget, a self-inflicted disaster. And that punishment budget is going to hammer Conservative voters with a host of appalling tax rises that go against the very moral fibre of the party. But there is another approach, As Simon Heffer argued in The Telegraph today, referring to a host of astronomical spending splurges in recent years, stopping such taxpayer-funded beanfests, slashing the size of the state and auditing every job on the public payroll to ensure it is really essential is the way to save money. Raising taxes is the coward's way out. Sadly, the new Conservative leadership may well prove to be cowards, and electoral losers.